In this video, we're going to be making a low poly chair in Blender. And if you are a beginner, you're going to learn so much. This is so exciting. If you want to follow along with this yourself, you can just get the link in the description. That's going to give you a starter project that has our textures and it's kind of set up how my project is set up. All right, so it's going to be fun. Let's get started here. So here I have this cube, and what we're going to do is we're going to make this into like 4 different objects that we're going to kind of combine for our chair. So I'm going to hit Tab to go into edit mode. Let's grab this bottom face and bring it up. So GZ, bring it up, and that's going to be the seat of our chair. Okay. I'll also hit Shift A, Mesh, Cube, and we'll add another one here. I'll go into edit mode. And then I'm going to scale this down by hitting S and then not scale it on the Z axis by hitting Shift Z. So that's going to scale it on all the axes except for Z. And I'm going to make this smaller, like, you know, chair leg width, like that. And then let's also bring this over. So GX. What is happening? Why is it being crazy? GX. There we go. And then let's do GY. We'll bring that to the edge right there. Cool. And let's also take this face right here and bring that down. GZ to be just barely into that. I think that's going to work great. All right. So there's one leg of our chair. I'm going to select this and hit Shift D and then right click. And so now I have 2 legs right on top of each other. So let's hit Tab A, and then let's move this back. So GX, we'll move this back like this. There we go. And this is going to be the back leg. But what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this out because we want to add kind of a little curve to this, because a chair, this back leg is sometimes kind of curved like this, and that helps the chair kind of sit comfortably and everything. So we're going to do that. And I'm just going to hit, I'm going to grab this face and E for extrude like this, and just kind of make it the height of the seat. And then I'm going to extrude it again and kind of bring that up like that. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little more. Good. This top, let's scale this on X, SX, to make this a little bit skinnier. So it kind of tapers at the top. And then we're going to bring it back. So I'll just look down the Y axis here and then GY. Oops, sorry, GX. What is going on? GX. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. Why is it being crazy? I don't know. Okay, same thing, GX. Kind of bring this back like this. So now we have this kind of taper to our chair. That looks nice. And I'll also add it kind of to here. So GX, bring that out just a little. So now we have this nice kind of designed looking taper to our chair. That looks really good. Okay. Now we want this to happen on both sides, which we could just duplicate this and move it over, but it might be better to mirror it. So let's select this and go to our wrench here, to our modifiers, and add, search, mirror. There we go. And where it says axis here, we're going to switch that to Y, depending on which axis you built it on, but that's going to work. Because we did this in edit mode and our center of our object is actually still in the center of the world, that's going to mirror perfectly. If we didn't have that, we could grab a mirror object and mirror this across the seat, and that would work well. So here we go, same thing right here. Add, search, mirror. Good, and we're going to switch that to Y. Yes, and not X. Yes, oh, that looks so good. This is going to be a pretty good chair here. Let's grab this seat and duplicate it. Shift D, right click, and then edit mode, A for all. And let's move this up. G, Z. Yeah, something like that. Look at this in the Y axis, and then R for rotate. I'm going to rotate that to be the right angle here. Let's do that. R, there we go. And I'm just rotating it to match that angle. Good. And now let's take this. Whoops, let's take this this face and hit GG. And that'll slide that down. Same thing here. GG, slide that up. That'll make that kind of back thing. Same thing for this front face, GG. Slide that back in. Good. Yes. That looks like a super legit chair. That's amazing. Okay, now it would be good for us to apply these modifiers. So I'm going to go to the mirror modifier and go to this drop down and just say apply. I can also hit Control A. Control A like this. And we could apply visual geometry to mesh. That would work too. Same thing. So now we have all these meshes. These are separate things. I'm going to shift select all of them and hit Control J for join. So now we have, oops, now we have, boop, this chair as one mesh. Cool, right? Okay. Let's colorize this. Let's go into our UV editing here, and we're going to set up our UVs. And the reason this is a rainbow is because I have this texture that lets us kind of set the UVs to just like a little part of the texture to colorize it. And so if you don't know what UVs are, it's basically just the way that the faces are mapped to a texture. So I'm going to hit A for all. That's going to select all of the faces. And I think what we'll do is just look at this on Y like this. And then we're going to go to UV, project from view. That's going to take a little snapshot of the side of our chair. And it's also going to kind of map this, this texture across the chair like this. And so now this is a rainbow chair. Wow, cool. We actually want this to be brown. So I'm going to go over here to the left with all of these faces selected. I'll hit S and just scale this way, way down like this. And then I'm just going to put it on top of the brown that I want. And we can kind of choose this like a color picker. And we'll just put that right there. And then come out of here. Look at that. It's a brown chair. If we want this to look even more dynamic, what we can do is we can hit A for all, come over here and say scale on Y, and we can stretch this out. And the top part of this is going to use the brighter part of this brown, and the bottom part is going to use the darker part of the brown. And then we have this kind of fade. All right, this is probably a little too extreme, but isn't that cool? You can do that really easily. So let's actually maybe not go so crazy, but the idea is there. Yeah. So we have it just a little bit of a fade, and that will just look really, really nice. Ah, that looks beautiful. The other thing you could do, if you select this, you could go to the modifier and add a bevel. So let's find a bevel, and that's going to make this a little bit more rounded. We could take this amount. Let's do 0.01. There we go. We could even turn up the segments if we want this to be a higher quality chair, you know? And that would work in like any video game, anything you want to do. But you know, if we want to keep it a little bit more simple or chunky, we can turn up the amount, turn down the segments. And we have that. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I like that. Let's yeah, maybe split the difference a little bit. That looks cool. Okay. So now that we have our chair, let's do a render of it. Let's do that. Let's go back over to layout, and over here in my scene outliner here, I can go over to this little funnel and click on this computer monitor. Click on that, and in my render stuff, if I click on that computer monitor, that'll bring up my lighting and my background and everything that I've set up in this starter project. And let's look through the camera here, grab this chair, and let's scale this down, GZ, to bring it up like that. And we're just going to barely put this through the floor, and then rotate on Z. There's our chair. That looks cool. Scale it up a little more. There we go. Yes. Actually, I think I want to rotate this the other way. Yeah, like that. That looks cool. Okay. Maybe move it over just a little bit. G, Shift Z. Just bring that over a touch. Very good. There's our chair. Actually, I like it where it was. Okay. And now let's hit render. Render image. Let's see what we got here. That is a great looking chair. I'm really excited about that. Hey, thank you so much for watching this. If you want to learn the very best ways to model in Blender, I have a Blender 101 course that teaches you the basics of modeling, and there's a link in the description, and I want you to go check it out, all right? Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you make awesome 3D goodness, including chairs, in Blender. See you later.